Hey y'all, it's Dorothy from PrepInYourStep.com, and it has been a while since I last sat down to film a video for you. I know many of you were missing out on the videos, so I'm excited that it's summer and I have a little bit more time on my hands and am bringing back some video content. So I thought it was only fitting when I brought back video content to start with a FAQ style post. So I asked on Instagram if you all had any questions you wanted me to answer, maybe about what I've been up to or just life in general, and I got a bunch of responses. I also got a bunch of responses with teaching related questions, and I want to go ahead and say right now I'm not answering any of those in this post, but I do plan to do a video on frequently asked questions that involve teaching or advice for teachers, student teaching, all of those sort of things. So if you still have those questions, if you'll Instagram DM me or comment, or just comment on this video, I'll be sure to include those once I get around to doing that. So this one is really just kind of life questions, general questions I got in response to that, but if you do have the teaching questions, I do want to get to that for y'all. If you have missed me on here, I always put this disclaimer, but I pretty much every weekday have a new blog post go live at PrepInYourStep.com, so you're more than welcome to read the post over there. I'd really love it, and you're always more than welcome to follow along on Instagram. I'm not sure what my schedule of uploading these videos will be. Ideally, I'll have 2 go live a week, but again, still trying to figure that out. So if you do want to be updated when I post so that you get a notification or you know, be sure to subscribe, or I think there's a little bell somewhere where you can get an alert when I post. Still not positive on that, but those are different options of how to follow along and know that I am uploading. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the questions because there are quite a few. So the first one says, how did you start blogging? So for those of you that have been around for a while, you've probably heard me answer this, but I started my junior year of high school. I am now 1 year post-grad, and I started kind of because I needed a creative outlet. I was tired of just going to soccer and school and then coming home and doing homework and studying, that I felt like I wasn't doing anything to kind of fuel my creative ideas. Pinterest had just come out at this time, so that I think if it had come out earlier, I probably wouldn't have started a blog, just because I think that that would have fulfilled that kind of void. But I started because I honestly just needed to do something for myself that wasn't related to anything else I was doing, and that's how Prep in Your Step came to be. The next question says, what does a typical day look like for you in this summer? So I'm currently in grad school getting my master's in early childhood education, and right now it looks very different than it will look next month. So for right now, the month of June, I have class in the afternoons from 1 to 3:45, so it's a really generous schedule. And so in the mornings, I'll usually wake up and either look through emails or get ahead on posts or work on some other things I need to do for class or just life in general. And then around 12:15, I usually leave for class. So that morning span, it really just depends on what I have on my to-do list, what I'm up to. Some mornings I go to Starbucks, some mornings I work from my bed with a cup of coffee, so it doesn't really stay the same. I usually make lunch here in my apartment, and then we'll go, and then sometimes I'll carpool with my roommates and friends, sometimes I won't. Again, just depends. And then I usually come back here, and my roommate and I have gotten in the habit of getting our books for class and going and doing our reading at the pool. So then at night, it's just kind of whatever we have going on. Sometimes we'll hang out with our friends, go to kickball, trying to think what else we do, or we'll just watch a show together and get some work done. So I usually try to go to bed by 11-ish in the summer, but last night I didn't really do that. So again, it kind of depends on what all I have on my plate next semester, I guess, summer session, so it's really just a month. I'll have class from 9 until around 4. So it'll be very different trying to balance that. But again, these sessions are only for about a month, so I feel like once my routine hits, then it's over. So that's kind of how it looks right now. The next question says, what are some tips for bloggers in high school? I think the tip that would apply best for high school bloggers, but honestly anyone with a busy schedule trying to juggle multiple things, would be to try to plan ahead. So I always have a list of blog post ideas that I want to get to, so that when I do have that time to sit down and write, I am not out of ideas or using that time to try to come up with something. Planning ahead can be super important, but if you're busy, then it's kind of difficult to do that. So using that time that you do have to really sit down and write content is really important, but also I think that something that you need to keep in mind is don't let it overtake your high school experience. I don't know if I had started earlier, if that would have been something that I felt like my blog would have done, which would have made it so that I wouldn't have kept it up for this long. But definitely don't try to overextend yourself, which is ironic coming from me because I feel like I'm very well known for doing that. Next question is, what do you miss most about being in college? So I am in a weird situation where I graduated from Furman, which is in South Carolina for those of you that don't know, last May, so 2017, but I'm getting my graduate degree at the same place. So that made it so that a lot of my friends kind of stayed put in the area, and the adjustment to the real world, so to speak, has been a lot easier in that sense. So I think what I miss most about college would be having everyone in one place. So I have a lot of friends here, which is great, but also I have friends kind of scattered about, and I think that kind of the beauty of Furman is that we all lived on campus all 4 years. So we were so used to everyone being close together that I miss that, and I really, really miss a meal plan. I had to apologize to my mom because I told her that I didn't want the same meal because we had had it 2 weeks earlier at one point in high school, and I called her and was like, I eat the same thing every night. So I really would love to go back to a meal plan. So complain all you want while you're in college, but when you're out of it, you'll realize how great it really was. The next question says, what is your go-to weeknight meal? So that was a nice transition. Honestly, I eat a lot of chicken. I'll just put some frozen Trader Joe's chicken in a pan, put some olive oil on it, and then whatever seasonings I want for the week. So I can eat that kind of with sweet potatoes or broccoli or on a salad. I eat a lot of bowls as well. So just like heating up rice and putting the chicken in a bowl, putting peppers or avocados and salsa and cheese and making it kind of like a taco bowl, or using whatever seasonings I have to try to make it a little bit different each night, but really I feel like I'm eating the same thing. So those are my go-tos. I feel like most of my meals are purchased at Trader Joe's and kind of thrown all together. So I wish I could say that I had a ton of great ideas, but the meals that I really do love are categorized on my blog under Meal Prep in Your Step. So if you're looking for some recipes and you want them to be easy and you want them to be something that you can make and eat for a couple days in a row, that's where you should look, because that is epitomizing those meals. The next question is one that I don't really have a firm answer to, and it's, are you staying in Greenville? So I don't know. Possibly. We'll have to figure that out. So there will be a life update for y'all probably late July with more updates about that, but I will be sure to let you know when I have an answer. The next question is, what is the clothing brand you can always rely on to have the things you want or need the most? I'm trying to think about one brand. If I had to choose one shop, I would say that Tuckernuck is always my go-to. I feel like it's still kind of one of those hidden gems where not everyone shops it, so you're not going to have the same thing as everyone else. But they don't carry like a sole brand, and they don't have their own branded clothes. So if it's one brand, I would probably say J. Crew, just because they're one of the few brands I shop that carries a ton of different things. I mean, I love shopping on Nordstrom's site and other places like that, but since they carry a number of different brands, I'm gonna go with J. Crew. And the last question I'm gonna answer today is, what inspired you to blog? So it's always funny when people ask me, like, how do you come up with ideas to write about, or what inspired you to get started? Because really it was just that I wanted to do something completely for myself. So I think that that has something to do with it, but also I've always kind of had an eye for either interior design or fashion or combining things in different ways. So even when I was younger, I would always draw different clothes that I thought would be cute, or I'd redesign my room even though I was for sure not redesigning my room, with magazine clippings and things like that. So I think that this honestly was a natural fit for what I'm doing. I think it makes a lot of sense when my parents think about it, even though it's kind of a foreign realm. But I think that I just have a lot of ideas and I wanted a place to put them. A friend recently told me that she's like, having my writing for everyone to read is like my worst fear. And I can't disagree with her sometimes, but a lot of times when I'm writing things, I'm writing it so much for myself and forgetting that there's an audience to an extent. I mean, I take y'all's ideas to heart a lot, but especially at the beginning, I just knew that I needed a place to talk about what I wanted to talk about and found that the internet was the best place. And so I think that that's kind of where my inspiration originated from. Hopefully that gave y'all a better look at some of the things I've been up to lately and where I got started with blogging. And if you do want to check out my blog, it is always linked below for you. There are lots of new posts going live. I'm always looking for additional recommendations from y'all. And if you're viewing this on my blog, then if you want to leave a comment saying some different teaching questions or video ideas or even blog post ideas, I'm always happy to hear those, so you can do that in the comments directly there as well. But that's it for now, and I will be talking to y'all again very soon. Bye.